Oh, what weather. This is terrible. Why are we stood out in this? Says Saskia. Well, said Delencia, this is it. Maybe it's a sign. We gotta go to one final place. But it ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be dangerous. But again, don't worry. I'll be there with you. You got everything you need? I think so, said Saskia. So, even in the pouring rain, she approached Tori, said thank you, and said her goodbyes. Tori just looked at her and smiled, and said, you'll be fine. You're in safe hands. Hopefully see you soon. Yeah, said Saskia. Me too. Take care. Thanks for everything. I looked at Delencia, and with that, they made their way back up into the frozen north where they previously were, but this time a little further north. So we'll catch up with them when they arrive. And so, after their relentless journey through the snow, we meet up with them a little further north than they previously were at the Black Keep, gazing at the entrance to a cave of what looked like the mouth of a dragon. Is this the place? Said Saskia. Yeah, I think so, said Delencia. Are you ready? Because this is going to be dangerous. I'm as ready as I'll ever be, said Saskia. So, they made their way inside. We'll catch up with them when they get in. Once inside, they stood and gazed down at a structure with a strange beam of light coming out from it. That's the place, said Delencia. That's where we need to go. This isn't going to be easy, like I say, but don't worry, I'll be by your side the whole time. It's just one more piece to get, and then you can get free of this place. Are you ready? Saskia took a big breath in, held it for a second or two, and then slowly exhaled. Well, we're here now, she said. Let's get it over with. So they made their way inside, but Delencia advised that this was only safe enough for the two of them. It was already going to be dangerous. And it was advised that the two of them just make their way through alone, and that the crew take a different way in for filming purposes. So we'll meet them when they get to the final boss. Well, as they got to the final spot where they needed to be, the strange staff that was in her inventory started talking away, and another voice they heard, but they prepared themselves because they were ready. This was it, the final fight. A chance to escape from this place. All Saskia had to do was obtain this final piece, and then collect the remainder that Leah had brought up to her house, and then make the journey to the Chaos Mouth and free herself. So they made their way in.
So goes this. I've enjoyed our travels. And if you remember the terms of our agreement.
Saskia readied herself. Here came the ghosts.
Last remnant.
Guns, take you!
Feel free to help, Delencia, thought Saskia as she just watched.
I whispered to the war.
But then again, Delencia got to work, rounding up the ghosts. Although they hit her a few times, they were no match for her. She was just able to tank them. No problem. Saskia helped her a little bit where she could, and they battled on, holding their breath as more came in. But standing together they were strong. Somehow Saskia was not afraid. She took on this challenge with Saskia. The real Saskia that she now felt inside. who Delencia had actually helped her bring out the real her. Although they were in this hellish place, she felt good. She felt like she was doing this for good, and for the right reasons, and not for evil. So together they fought off ghost after ghost, and it seemed like it was going to take forever. More and more, just relentless. But together they stood, side by side, and took out the ghosts one at a time, one after another. As true warriors they stood. Then as the barrier dropped, he seemed to still send out more ghosts, which was strange. Then Saskia heard a noise from the front, approached his throne, and the creature who was at the throne lay dead on the floor. Was this it, thought Saskia? Does he really have the piece I need? So she went and looked at his inventory. And there it was, the shining trapezahedron, the final piece of the puzzle that she needed. The final piece of what she had been told would help her leave this place. Now all they had to do was fight their way back out again, get back to Delencia's home, collect the remaining pieces, and then make their way to Chaos Mouth. So we'll meet them on that final journey. Saskia, gave Tori with a shout of delight. You made it! And Delencia too. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy you're still alive. I was worried for you both. Anyway, you need to collect the other pieces that you need. Get going. This is the last bit of your journey. Don't hang around here. Oh, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. This is kind of my home at the moment. But it's been great to meet you, Saskia, and great to get to know you. You too, Tori. Thank you. Again, thank you for everything. And with that, Saskia headed inside to collect the final pieces she needed, and then they made their way to the Chaos Mouth. Once again, after a short journey up through the highlands, they reached the place. I believe this is it, said Delencia. It's not too far now, come on, we can do this. So they carried on and made their way ever closer, but they needed to get the high ground to see if this was the place where they needed to be, if they were in the right place, if Delencia did know, or was she just telling Saskia this just to lead her on? Let's see. There, said Delencia. You see this huge tower in front of us with the bridge? Yeah, that's where you need to get to. That's where you need to take all those items. When you get up there at the back, you'll find an entrance leading to a staircase. Take it, follow it all the way through. There shouldn't be anything to worry about in there. There shouldn't be any bad people in there or any creatures. Just go on through. Follow it right through to the other side. You'll see yourself looking back out into the desert, but then you'll see an altar in front of you. Place all these things you've collected into that altar, and it'll change them into that item for you. It's called the keystone. Then you can use it to remove your bracelet. That's it, said Saskia. That's it, said Delencia. Let's go then, said Saskia. So they made their way down the hill to climb up the other side to make the final trip up the tower. Having made the first climb, Saskia got her breath back, turned around to speak to Delencia, but she was nowhere to be seen. Strange. I thought she was coming with me, thought Saskia. Never mind, we must carry on. So she made her way carefully over the rocks, just as Delencia had told her. Over she went, as close as she could get, and then she realised she was going to have to use her sorcery one last time. And so with that, Saskia got herself into position, pulled out her staff, and cast that spell. And so there was the bridge in front of her. So she made her way carefully up the bridge. That felt more like a staircase. But anyway, it got her to the top. And that was all that mattered. A little strange looking that it had poked through, but hey, she'd made it. It was hers. She took a look around. Could see the valley from where they'd come from. And then noticed the entrance just as Delincia had said. And went on through.
So you live, and we meet again. Tell me, have you had a good chance to look around? Seen your fill of these exiled lands? Any fool can see that you need answers. Left hanging for the vultures on that cross. A cursed bracelet that keeps you trapped in this place. Everybody trying to kill each other. I should leave you all to your fate. I don't have the stomach for sorcery. Give me a foe that I can strike with cold iron. Ah! Just remember this. If you do succeed, if you do manage to find a way to remove your bracelet and leave the exiled lands, you will have to make a choice. Stay and be the hero of your own story. Or leave and risk losing it all. The choice will be yours. Choose wisely.
I wanted to thank you. The woman that you met in those ruins, that was not me. She was ancient and wicked and powerful. You almost killed me in that city. I cannot begrudge you that. Such a terrible, awesome creation. While I wore the mask, I was somebody else. I was something else. Such power and knowledge. The Witch Queen's mask, the diadem of the Giant Kings, the tears of two races, the shining trapezahedron, the star of the champion, the heart of the sands. The bracelets were created to translate any language for the wearer, to allow swift movement around the Empire, and to allow communication and recording through the lore stones. It was only later, when the war began, that the Queen suspected that the Giant Kings had included a death weave in the sorcery. Any who tried to flee their control were simply killed by the curse wall. I truly don't know what I will do now that I have my freedom. Conan has offered to accompany me north, back to my home city in Shem. My palace awaits me, and the pampered life of a princess of Shem. But my enemies, the ones who sent me here, they also await me there. Perhaps instead, I will travel with Conan a while, see the world by his side. He is formidable, yes, for a barbarian.
Then, having once again spoken with both Conan and Rasma, still wondering if it was real or not, Saskia made her way down the stairs behind them, and approached another doorway. Noticed two guards, standing either side. "Hello," they said, with big smiles on their faces. "Saskia, isn't it? We've been waiting for you. Go on through." Saskia paused for a moment, and looked at them puzzled. How did they know who I am, she thought. Never mind. "Thank you," she said to them both. And she made her way through. This brought her out into the open, into some unusual archways that she'd not seen before. And as Delancia had said, it did appear to look out over the desert, although not an area of the desert Saskia was familiar with. And then the floor that she walked onto did not match that of the surroundings. So she found this strange. Was this real? Was it another dream? But then as she got a bit further along, she noticed a dance troupe performing away, dancing for her. 3 either side. She recognised 4 of them, as from Leah's training session that she had to do. Are these here for me, she thought? And then as she carried on down the walkway, she began to notice 2 lines of people, faces that she recognised, like the original crafter that helped her in the first place, her fighter friend that became her first companion, the 2 Defari people that pointed him in the direction of a sorcerer, the 2 representatives of Derketo that were present when she gave herself over to Derketo. Next to them, the Witch Queen herself, although now not here as an enemy, but here with a smile and a friend. Opposite her was Rasma, who she'd just spoken to. She too had come down here and taken her place. Following them was their friend from the Relic Hunters, who helped her out in the Friendly City. Opposite her was Tessa the Blade, the one who introduced them to the Heart of the Sands. Then next to her were the 2 drunken pirates that may have given them a bit of a attitude, but directed them to the other pieces that they needed for the Heart of the Sands. Next to them was Freya, again with that sweet look that she gave in the first place, because she pointed across from her, because of course she had brought Sir Brownie with her. Although now a retired bear, he'd come all this way, even just for Saskia, and this warmed her heart. This was amazing. Next to them were the 2 people from Freya's home, especially the one who was the guide that took her to introduce her to Leah and Delancia. Next to them were 2 representatives from Mitra that again brought flashbacks back and reminded her of when she then gave her life to Mitra and the good life that she now has. And then of course the Sumerian guard who was there at Delancia's home. And Leonille herself was there with a big smile. "Ah, there you are," she said. "You've made it. It's good to see you." "You too," said Saskia. "I remember you said we'll meet again. I didn't know you meant it was here, but it's good to see you." Then as she approached the end, she noticed at either side the representative from Mitra and from Derketo, the 2 different people that she'd spoken to and given her life to. But then the most important 2 of all were stood straight in front of her. Yes, there was Taina, back again. But also next to her was Delancia, who'd helped her get to this point. Saskia just couldn't comprehend what was happening. Was this all real, or was it a dream? She looked at Taina. Taina smiled and said, "Well done. See, I told you you'd make it." Then she looked at Delancia, and Delancia just nodded and said, "See, I told you all your friends would be fine. I told you they were all safe." But you didn't know they were coming here, did you? No, said Saskia. I didn't. And with that, she passed out on the floor.
It's not too late to get back on that crucifix.
You return. Have you come to submit to screaming bliss?
The choice will be yours. Choose wisely.
A little while later, Saskia awoke once again. What? What happened? Where is everybody? Why does things look different? She wiped her eyes and tried to come to her senses. She could still see the altar in front of her, but she noticed that her clothes were gone again. All the equipment she had was gone. The place looked bare and ancient, just as though it was supposed to do. There was nobody. The place was empty. Was I dreaming, she said? Was it all a dream? No, it can't have been. Is this real? Or is it another dream? I don't know. But then she remembered the 6 items she collected. I gotta check the altar. That's the only hope I have. So with that, she stepped up to the altar. And inside the altar was one item. The keystone. The key to removing her bracelet. So, she claimed it from the altar. Stepped back. Started to walk away from the altar a little bit. Took in everything that she'd experienced, the good, the bad, even the confusing times she'd had. Was this finally it? Was this really going to happen? Or was she about to wake up and still be in a dream? There was only one way to find out, and that was to remove the bracelet. So Saskia stood for a moment, alone once again, and bare with no equipment and no clothing, just as she'd started out. If she does this thing with this stone, will she be able to remove her bracelet and walk free? Or will she find herself back on another crucifix, and it all be a dream? There is only one way to find out. With that, she took hold of the keystone and used it. And she found that as she approached the wall, the barrier was gone, her bracelet was removed, and she could walk through the wall, out of the exiled lands. But then in the journey of the sand, she collapsed in the heat from exhaustion. Hello, there you are, my friends. Good to see you. Saskia here. Back in the present day, as you can now tell. Escaped from that horrible place. Now back where I should be. Yeah, things are a lot better now. Things are different. That place was strange. It was interesting. But thank you for being on this journey with me. I hope it says something to you, and I hope it tells a story. And you never know. We might just meet again one day. Hi everybody, Game Labs here. Thank you for watching this. Hope you've had as much fun watching this little mini-series as I have making it. It was a lot of fun. There was a bit of a story behind it when it all started out, as I've kind of hinted to as we've gone through. Had a little backstory of an idea of a character that I was going to use, what she was going to be, the decisions she was going to have to make, sort of following the Decetto dark side of life kind of things at first, and then things drew her over towards Mitra, which was to represent the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. And I just think this little series just kind of highlights how that real life if you're on a journey and you can be at rock bottom and you feel like you're in a very dark place and you can't see any way out, and people come along and try and help you but maybe lead you in the wrong direction, but at the time you think that's the way to go. Nothing wrong with that if you feel that's what you want to do and you feel like what's right at the time. But then maybe if somebody or a situation changes that comes along and shows you the bright side and that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and just helps you to grow and develop and be the person you actually can be, and find that light at the end of the tunnel and make the changes that you need to do and that you can do to be the better person and be the person you're supposed to be, whatever that is that you're facing in life. And I just found through this series that it was only as I was recording further down the line that it really struck me that this is telling more of a powerful story than what I actually realised. And I think it's just a little message to people. It certainly says this to me, that although the NPCs in the game were physically there in the game to use as illustration of supposedly people that helped Saskia on her journey, they weren't really there, because really these were images in her mind and they were used to illustrate the things she was thinking or that she wanted to do. Really, they were images of her former self and her present self and her future self, of who she really is and who she really can be. And obviously throughout the journey, she took the journey with the Keto, used the sorcery for what she thought was right at the time, but turned out it wasn't. Then found the light side and went over to Mitra, found the light at the end of the tunnel, and now, as we see here before us, she's back as the Sorceress Supreme, using her sorcery for the good reasons, for the good purpose, and for the right reasons. She's back in her happy place. And I just hope that this little series has kind of given you that impression with the story as well, that when things get tough and you are at your lowest, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You're not destined to be that person you become or that you presently are. We all do have a brighter future and a purpose in life. It's up to us to make of it what we can. Sometimes we need a little bit of help along the way though. You never know who might be sent your way to help you. But just remember, when you do have that help, you're not on your own. Reach out to family or friends, and I'm sure they'll help you. So once again, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this little series. Hopefully more to come in the future. May do something slightly different next time as well. So if you're not subbed to the channel, do consider doing so. Totally free for you to do. Shows me that you enjoy the content I make, so if you enjoy it, I'll keep making it. Leave a like on this one as well if you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below. Join the Discord. It'd be great to see you. And yeah, I will, as they say in the movies now, roll credits, which will give you a little list of the different NPCs that were used in game, the name that they were in the story, and who they were played by. So thanks once again everybody, and until the next one, it's a bye bye for now.